Citadel is shoveling money right out of my pocket and your pocket. Let me explain. We have been told that our broker dealers were getting best execution, and that is exactly what payment for order flow does. Webull has an agreement with large market makers like Citadel and Virtu and plenty of others, and also more platforms other than Webull, such as Robinhood. The reason for this is so that these brokers' customers get the best execution when they trade different tickers. Well, actually, it's one big scam, just like everything else Citadel is involved in. I had been told that retail brokers were getting best execution and that no additional standard or SEC rule was needed. I had also been told there is ample competition off exchange by wholesalers and no regulation is needed there either. This is so weird. Well, take a look at this. The professors found that Fidelity kept routing roughly the same share of their orders to Citadel, even though Virtu was getting better quality execution. Chart shows where FIDO routed the professor's orders for the duration of the experiment. Now this is completely screwed up, because here's a quote from the study. Despite this predictability, a major of our brokers do not seem to change their routing based on past execution. In fact, only one does so at a statistically significant level. Yet retail is told wholesalers were all judged on execution quality. This is the entire reason that we are not on platforms that go straight to lit exchanges, because we will have to pay that fee. Now this is a serious problem. It means implicit costs of payment for order flow and excessive internalization are taking money directly out of your pocket. This entire system is toast and it's time to rip it up. The SEC is trying to do that and Congress is trying to stop them. Yet is that the case? Is the SEC really on retail's side? Because they actually control when the FTD data is released, and AMC's failed to deliver data is still not here for the first half of October. This is the longest time we have waited for failed to deliver data. Just the icing on the cake, the threshold securities list is down over on the NYSE, which would display AMC if there was anything happening. Now again, I'm not bullshitting you. Lottery Stocks, it doesn't report on the same exact day of the market. No, it's not reporting for November 10th. I'm on November 10th, not on November 12th or 13th. What is going on, guys? Lottery Stocks here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if you're new. Today we have a lot of stuff to cover with AMC. We just covered stuff that's happening with Citadel, FTDs, the threshold securities list being down. I want to touch on a few more things, and then the charts, and then some data, as well as the S&P 500 and some additional stuff happening with banks that is going to blow your mind. So please hit the like button on this video, share this, get the video out to more apes. Without further ado, let's get into it. Now the Q3 proxy vote for AMC during that earnings call, as many of you know, shareholders had to vote on something else. Take a look at this. Shares loaned out may not be voted, as the actual ownership and control of those shares may temporarily transfer to the borrower, basically another investor or institution. Look at the impact of high broker non-votes on AMC. If large hedge funds want to disrupt AMC's voting, the use of automatic enforced non-opt-outable share lending gives their broker policy the ability to game AMC vote outcome. So, in greater detail, a total of 100,710,000 shares out of 198 million shares were voted. There were 40 million voted for non-routine matters after excluding broker non-votes. So Adam Aron, the board, should be pushing out how important it actually is to vote your shares, especially if you have share lending turned on accidentally. Moving on, since we covered Citadel at the beginning of this video, oral agreement on defendant's motion to dismiss the amended complaint is scheduled for tomorrow, Tuesday, November 14th. What is the complaint? Northwest Biotherapeutics, the plaintiff, accused the defendants of a scheme to manipulate NWBO's share price. Who are the defendants? They are accusing Virtu, Susquehanna, and you can see Citadel is in here as well as a few others. Moving on, looking at Fidelity orders, AMC and GameStop are among the top most bought stocks on the day, with both positive buy to sell ratio, yet they still continue to drop. AMC trading at $7.77, down 3% on the day, and based on the cycles, this is something you could see play out. We would like to see more volume on AMC, but with volume sort of low, this is something I assume to happen with AMC, coming back down to test that $7.08 level at minimum, and late January have another pop, coming up to around $21.82. This is just based off of previous cycles, and at this point, we do have to wait for either further regulation or to stair step higher. Now, there is one good thing to note. I measured out the time frames that AMC tested support on this descending trend line, and it was every 228 days, give or take. So from the last touch point to the next one, AMC wouldn't even have room to fall even further, which means we could be on the very last cycle down for AMC. We're either on the last cycle down for AMC, the cycles are going to get much smaller, or number 3, they're going to push this thing to 0 and get it delisted. As you all know, AMC and XRP track each other, except AMC has been flushing down while XRP has been climbing, so AMC should be in that point of interest, but it has not been moving higher. XRP finally entering the point of interest that we have been waiting for. November 14th is the start of this point of interest. What does this mean? It means there's going to be a major move. It could be higher or lower. It's going to enter a bull cycle or bear cycle, but right now is the time period where we're going to find out. And if it enters a bull cycle, it's going to be good for AMC. GameStop 1209 down 3.6% on the day. Touch point here, finally broke lower, came up, tested it as resistance. It's coming down to that $10.10 level. I do still hold my puts on GameStop. AMC 550,000 shares available to borrow. Call to put ratio getting slaughtered on the options chain. A lot of premium going to market makers. Short exempts still extremely high. GameStop 80k shares available to borrow. Basically no calls to 21,000 puts expiring in the money. More premium going to market makers. Short exempts very low on low volume. Now check this out. Something major happening with banks. But before we get into that, guys, if you want up to 16 free stocks, each valued up to $2 grand per stock, use my link, sign up for Moomoo, make a deposit of any amount to start earning benefits from there. That is in the top of the description and pinned in the top of comments. Also, guys, join the Discord. The link is right under the video, along with the Moomoo link. I'm in there on the daily if you want to talk stocks, request videos, plus we talk stocks all day long. Join us on this journey to financial freedom. Basically a huge group chat with the best vibes. We talk stocks day in and day out. Now, UK banks caught up in Europe's biggest ever tax fraud of 10 billion. Multi-billion pound scam has rocked Germany and spilling across Europe. It is likely to lead more claims against banks and individuals in the city. The so-called Cum-Ex case of alleged dividend tax frauds has 2,000 implicated. Up to 2,000 suspects are implicated, many of them bankers, brokers, and hedge fund managers based in the city of London. More than a dozen convictions already have been secured in German courts. Banks under investigation include Britain's Barclays, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley of US, France's BNP, and Japan's Nomura, as well as law firms and auditors. Absolutely insane. I'm going to link the full article under the video in case you guys do want to read through it. But since we are on the topic of banks, the OFR's Contagion Index measures the loss that could spill over to the rest of the financial system if a given bank were to default. Depends on the size of the bank, its leverage, and how connected it is to other financial institutions. We're not going to cover this entire thing, but basically Too Long Didn't Read. Based on empirical data reported by the OFR, such as systematic risk indicators and a Contagion Index, JP Morgan continues to be the riskiest bank with no end in sight, which is absolutely a scary thing to see. And speaking of banks defaulting, take a look at what just happened with B. Riley Financial today, down over 30%. Finally, Japan dumping US treasuries during illiquid overnight hours. Dumping treasuries may cause yields to rise, stocks to fall, etc., etc. Now the SPY is trading at 440.13, slightly red on the day, came up, tested this zone that we had drawn out, not once, but twice, and getting a slight rejection. If we base off of this supply zone, it's going to show serious strength for the S&P 500. If we start to scale down, watch for a bounce at 438 or at least a hold there. I do still hold my puts at this point. It's just riding them out, YOLO. If the SPY cranks up 442.75 and then 444 for a slap on the S&P 500. Other than that, we have major catalysts this week, which we're going to talk about in 1 second. But the potential scare of a government shutdown with that downgrade is the only thing keeping the S&P 500 from pushing, at least right now. Now, SIBO to launch margin, Bitcoin, and Ether futures in January of 2024. And finally, this is what's happening this week. Today, nothing really. Tuesday, we have CPI. And then here's the rest of the calendar in case you do want to screenshot it. Overall, guys, that is what I got for you for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed watching or found value out of the video. Make sure to hit the like button, engage the video, get this video out to more apes like you guys, have post notifications on, get in the Discord, get your free stocks. Those links are right under the video. Also, I am getting a little bit sick, but I did still get a video out for you guys. I love you all. Lottery Socks out.